2011 season, and we're here today, as you can see, at Barbagallo for our fourth round. It's going to be a sprint event, 150 kilometres in length. Sprint tyres used also, so plenty of speed, but plenty of tyre wear to factor in as well. And we're at the splendid, just 7-turn, but very, very fast and flowing Barbagallo circuit. Very difficult to pass here. We're just about to go to qualifying now, and the fastest guy in practice has been Ben Crooks, followed by last round winner, at Melbourne, Tobias Schlemo. And third place was Toby Davis. He's making his debut in Division 1 for the first time this season. So Ben Crooks is faster so far. He won the race at Adelaide. He's the championship leader at the moment also. So he's looking for a good run here. Look at the traffic out on track. It's a very short lap, 55 seconds, 54 seconds, 53 even for some of the drivers, depending on how fast they are, and people are just squeezing out of the pits. Very slow pit limit in these cars as well, just 40 k's. So any mistake in the pits and having to go through a drive-through really does cost you an awful lot. Here is Ben Crooks, teammates with Jesper Torbo, of course, and they are leading the team championship also, 3ID FCR. Second in that team championship is 360 Racing, who got a fantastic result at Melbourne, with Schlemo first and Strauss in second. So that's a team 1-2. And Strauss has qualified in the top 3 at every event so far this season, but has not won a race. So he'll be looking to break that duck here today. Only 6th fastest as well in practice, but he did only put a race run in. A very consistent race run it was as well. Gareth Lennon is showing plenty of speed here also. Jesper Torborg, after a difficult event at Adelaide, and a little bit mediocre by his standards in the event at Melbourne. He's in 5th after the practice. Levesque is showing lots and lots of speed, in 7th place overall. Norbert Leitner 8th also. Remember, he has a great run at Adelaide. So let's go on board with Ben Crooks for this lap. He's stuck right in behind either Strauss or Schlemo. It's Schlemo he's stuck right in behind. There's got Magnez just in front of him, goes a little bit wide. Toby Davis has set the fastest lap time already, 54.267. We're looking for mid-53s to be the fastest lap here today, but of course there's plenty of traffic on track, and finding a good lap as well as a bit of space on track is going to be extremely difficult. Schmick, Stenbeck, Torborg, Leitner, Nielsen and Steve Davis have all done laps now also. Tim Brooker 54.4, Strauss 54.3. And here he is, who's been involved in plenty of incidents so far. None of them his fault, but he seems to find trouble wherever it goes, it seems, this season at the moment. Adelaide, he made a couple of mistakes, and that allowed Ben Crooks to A, close up, and B, pass him in the second mistake. And also as he runs wide onto the grass there out of turn 5. Toby Davis 54.0. See, they are clicking the laps off very, very quickly here, of course, with this short lap. Florence Strauss is still purple through the second set, coming down to the final corner now. Uphill braking zone slightly. Can't really gather speed down that hill, and he's gone too wide in there also, so this won't be a pole lap from Florence Strauss. Indeed it's not. 2.58. So Jas Mariner, he was involved in the Douglas crash, of course, early on in the race, and then at Adelaide, at Melbourne, he had a bit of a pit lane incident which cost him lots of time. Allowed Tobias Schlemo to pick up the pieces and win that race. Ben Crooks goes into the 53s for the first time. Here he is, following Tobias Schlemo, who's not in the top 8 at the moment. Further down there is Tobias Schlemo 9th, Johnson 10th, Schmick 11th, Wilson 12th, Stenbeck has just moved up to 13th. Davis is now down to 14th already. There's Anders Nielsen now in 9th. He's moved back up again. Eike Roding also 16th. Steve Davis now 9th. His teammate Tim Brook, he's in 8th, just ahead of him. Very well matched they've been all season, as Florence Strauss goes just 4 thousandths of a second slower than Ben Crooks. Here is James Johnson. He found plenty of speed at Melbourne for the first time this season. coming home with an excellent 5th place finish. him and Gary Lennon have found the speed that they showed in the 2010 season. Lennon getting a 4th at Melbourne, Johnson a 5th. Lennon finished 9th here in 2010. So he'll be looking to improve on that as Florian Strauss goes purple in the second sector. Just 8 thousandths of a second faster though, and he's made a mistake at the last corner, run too wide, and that won't be helping him at all. As wide goes one of the 05 Motorsport cars as well. That's either Steve Davis or Tim Brook. There goes Jeff Dobbing off the track at turn 1. Let's go on board with Florian Strauss for a lap of this track. Fantastic track it is. Jumps and dips and camber and long corners, fast corners, hard braking zones. Schmidt came back on the track, almost taken out. Florian Strauss, a bit of worry there for the second place man in the championship from Germany. Well out of the shape when we're breaking into that corner. Half a tenth down after sector 2. What has he got for sector 1? Sorry, what's he got for sector 2? Splits just here, and he's a 10th down. So unless he produces a sublime final corner, which he hasn't been doing when we've been following him. No, he's not done again. He's run far too deep. Missed the apex completely. And that cost him an extra 10th, so he stays in second by just those 4 thousandths of a second. Let's watch Gary Lennon as he is on a quick lap. Levesque goes 6th. It's all very, very tight here with this short track. Toby Davis is on a purple first sector. Let's just quickly shift to him. He's 1,000ths up. Shows how close the margins here are today. He's getting out of shape coming out of turn 6 as well. That could cost him those vital split seconds. Here is Gary Lennon. What has he got in sector 2? He's 2 tenths down. So he might improve if he has a good final corner. Leitner now 8th. Johnson 7th. Incredibly close here today. And here goes Lennon to cross the line. 54.340. Still 2 tenths down in his own time, so he's not improving at the moment. Toby Davis did improve his lap time. He was just 111 thousandths off, so just a 10th off pretty much the 2 leaders. A 54 flat. Tobias Schlemmer, who was second in practice, is still outside the top 8. There he is in 10th. So he will not be happy with that. But look how close it is. If he improves by just 2 tenths of a second, he will be way up the grid. He'll be up to 5th. 10th Schlemmer, 11th Nielsen, 12th Brook, 13th Roding, 14th Vinari, 15th now is Steve Davis. Despite the fact he's half tenth away from Tim Brook, he's 3 positions away. Stenbeck is in 16th. 17th is Schmidt, 18th Bubicic, 19th Antonio, 20th is Clark. He'll be looking to improve from there. Got an excellent 9th at Melbourne, 21st Churchill, 22nd Ilivano, 23rd Dobbing, 24th Fellows, and 25th is Roy Magnez. Toby Davis goes back on track once again. Florian Strauss on an outlap as well. Ben Crooks is on a help lap. Let's follow him. Go on board with him. You have to really keep your concentration as he runs too deep into turn 4. Over the grass. It's a good exit there from turn 5 though. It's cost him a quarter of a second doing that. And Tobias Schlemmer is up into 4th position, so he'll be much happier with that lap. With just 7 thousandths of a second cover 4th to 6th, look. It's incredibly close. Just one missed gear change and you're way down the grid. As 4th goes Gary Lennon now with a 54.034. An excellent lap there from Garrett. Into 4th. That's the second row of the grid. 5th now is Slamo. 6th is Leitner. 7th is the ATCC and RDTCC champion Jesper Torborg. Crooks can improve by quite a bit though, because he pulled back over a 10th in that lap. Over his pole lap. After getting the first sector wrong. Of course, it's not about getting sectors right one lap and sectors right the next lap. It's about getting all the sectors right lap to lap and over one lap. Just to show you the competition here though, Torborg is a runaway with the ATCC and RDTCC winner. And those are very strong competitions, but here he's only 7th on the grid and has been struggling lately in the rounds. as Crooks is exactly level with his lap time as he gets out of shape into the last corner. Can he keep the car together? He can, just about. What has he got towards the line? I don't think it'll be enough, but we will say 53.776. Yes, it is. Improved by a tenth of a second. Really hung it out around that final corner. What has Florian Strauss got though? He's 0.06 up after sector 1. What has he got for sector 2? 0.02 up still. So he can beat this time, just to match Ben Crooks in this final sector. Just at this final corner, but he's been struggling ever so slightly, Strauss, to get that car in. He's missing the apex each time. It's so important to carry the speed around it as well. Well, Strauss got 53.971, not enough. That final corner again is proving his downfall as Anders Nielsen moves up into 8th position. So Ben Crooks, the championship leader, is showing why he's the championship leader at the moment. 53.776, we're coming down to just under halfway left in the session, so plenty of time for plenty of laps, because the laps are only a minute long here, so probably about 10 laps left in each driver. He does a 53.9 once again. I don't think Strauss has got the speed on this lap to beat it. And just half a tenth, he just feels like a wasted sector. All the drivers are saying if they lose half a tenth, it feels like they've gone extremely slow. As Tobias Schlemo's now improved to a 54.0, but he's still in 5th position, unfortunately. Toby Davis 3rd, 4th Lennon, 5th is Schlemo, 6th here is Norbert Leitner, running wide onto the grass outside of Venari or Johnson with him running wide as well. 7th is Tolborg. He starts another flying lap, comes round in behind James Fellows, who's coming out of the pits. Hopefully James get out of the way pretty quickly. And he does indeed. Antonio runs wide onto the grass also as well. What has Jesper got through this first sector? He's 4 tenths down. So that's a poor first sector from Jesper. Maybe distracted by the driver in front. 8th is Nielsen. 9th here is Levesque. 10th is now James Johnson. He was in the top 6 at one point. And there is his teammate in behind him, running in formation. Jari Venari. Venari himself is in 14th. As you can see, Steve Davis still down in 15th. Just can't find those elusive couple of tenths of a second to pull his way up the leaderboard. 11th here is Tim Brook. That's Steve Davis' teammate for 05 Motorsports. And they're beautiful skids. 12th is John Wilson of Zeno Racing. He's on an outlap at the moment. He's had a strong start to this season. Bit of a torrid time at Adelaide, but fought his way back very well for a decent result. Also a bit mid-pack as well at Melbourne, but it's been a very solid start to his Touring Pro Series career. He's never run in R-Factor before, never mind in the V8s, and they are difficult cars to master. Out of the pits comes one of the 360 racing cars. 15th now goes Tia Bubicic. That means 16th now is Steve Davis with a 4.48, a 4.56 and a 4.66 for those positions. Very, very close indeed. All the way down to about 18th position it's close. A bit more gap down at the bottom of the field. Let's go back to the battle at the front of the field. Take you through the cars here. There's Tobias Schlemo 5th. With a great exit there from that corner. Let's have a look what kind of lap he can do here. His first flying lap on this stint, which may be his final stint of qualifying. It's really quite vital to get a rhythm going here at this track, especially with being such a short track and the competition so close. Half a tenth makes all the difference, and he's almost 2 tenths down already as Crooks has improved once again. Improved from a 7.76 to a 7.50. So the championship leader just gets faster and faster. Winner of one race so far this season. Strauss has qualified in the top 3 every time this season. Can he do it again? Looks like he can, as Toby Davis is going into the 53s. Still not quick enough to usurp either Strauss or Crooks. Let's go on board and watch. I mean, Florian Strauss, teammate to Tobias Schlemo. Let's watch this lap. See what he's got. Ben Crooks is still lapping round, is still in the lead by 0.139 of a second. That's probably more than he expected. A bit of a chasm, really, considering the close times there are at this track. I'd be very happy with that sort of gap. Strauss comes through very, very quick through there, but he clipped the grass ever so slightly. And there's Iker Roding just ahead of him, just getting out of the way. Hopefully that hasn't distracted or slowed down Strauss at all. He's got a nice apex there. Comes out of the corner, okay, just battling for grip as Schlemo goes second, beating his teammate by 300ths of a second. It was by 1,000th of a second at Melbourne he beat his teammate by, and he's 0.022 down. He has to do this final sector, he just cannot do that final corner. Strauss is really struggling to get the car in. Every time he's been on the hot lap, he's messed up that final corner. And that should have been his second place again. But Schlemo again, pipping his teammate here, it seems. 5 minutes to go. 33 thousandths of a second in it. Let's watch Toby Davis and see what he's got. He's on an outlap at the moment. We'll come back to him in a moment. Ben Crooks is in the pit. Everyone just readying themselves for one final assault on the track, I think, with 4.5 minutes to go. The Vet goes into 8th. The times are improving all the time. Getting incredibly close to get into that top 10. Now Steve Davis is all the way down in 17th. Top 18 are very, very close here. The rest of the drivers a little bit off. They are very close. Let's hop on and watch Toby Davis, who is qualified 4th at the moment. This is his debut in Server 1, Division 1 this season. After qualifying for Division 1, the opening race, he missed the opening race as a result of some real-life commitments. And he's quarter of a second down in this lap as well, so that's not going to help his cause. And then he's spent the next 2 rounds getting back into Division 1 as Ivanov goes for a trip way across the grass. He spent the next 2 races getting back into Division 1, and now he is here. He's making the most of it because he's 4th, second row. Mixing it with some of the race winners and pole sitters, Strauss, Schlemo and Crooks. Here is Strauss. This is the big story at the moment. Schlemo again beating his illustrious teammate. What has Strauss got for the first sector? Quite as neat as last time it looked like, a 10th down. And here is Davis, what has he got for the first sector? It's a bit neater. I don't know what split he's got there, because the timing didn't tell me. Let's see what he's got for the second sector. Strauss is going to be 0.17 down. Given his record at the final corner, it doesn't look like he's going to improve on his lap time. And Davis is up. He's got a purple sector in sector 2. Just needs to get this final corner correct, and he'll be on the front row at least. He gets very tidy exit from there. Whether it was fast or not, I'm not quite sure. 53.789. Oh, just off Ben Crooks, less than 400ths of a second. Incredibly close there between the 2 British drivers to get ahead of the 2 German drivers. And Toby Davis was incredibly close there to upsetting the apple cart and taking pole position. But Ben Crooks is still clinging onto it. He's decided not to go out for another run, I don't think, because he's still in the pits waiting. The drivers in the background practice their pit stops, getting out of shape as they do so. And here come a load of drivers out. There goes one of the 05 Motorsport cars. Leitner and Clark went out. There's another. All this traffic at turn 1. Incredible. Ben Crooks has decided that he's not safe on pole position. He's going to go out for one last throw at it. He's going to get one lap in. As one of his rivals, Schlemo or Strauss, comes through also as well. And it was Strauss. A bit of dust there in the background. Don't know who's done that. Strauss clips the curve very hard, pushing extremely hard here. Now to turn 5. And he's 0.073 down. That's not too bad. He can pull this back. At least get ahead of his teammate. It's funny, the first sector is 5 corners and the next 2 sectors only feature 1 corner each. Davis gets well out of the way for Strauss. Davis is going for one final run. 0.128 down now, Strauss. So if you can just do a decent final sector into this final corner, you can get ahead of his teammate, which is also important to beat your teammates. Got 360 Racing third and fourth, and no, he doesn't improve. Got 3ID FCR first and fifth. Holborg is into 53s also now, so people improving all the time. Lennon has done a 54 flat, but has not been able to improve for much of the session. He's now been balked in behind several drivers, and he has to get out of the way. As he won't be able to finish the lap either to get another lap in. Seventh is Johnson with a 54 flat, and eighth is Norbert Leitner, now knocking Levesque down to 9th, Eicher Roding 10th, 11th Anders Nielsen, 12th is Stenbeck, 13th finally Steve Davis has pulled out a lap to beat his teammate, 54.367, just 0.021, 0.19 sorry, ahead of his team. Oh, a big crash in the background there. That was Matt Clark absolutely destroying his car at the final corner. Let's go and see if we can see that on the replay. 19th place on the grid he is. Not quite sure the speed that he's shown at previous tracks. As he comes out the final corner, gets onto the curb and smack into the end of the pit wall, spinning out. Let's see that from on board. Here he is now coming out of the final corner. Looks okay here. Gets on the curb a bit too much and clips that wall, spinning way out of control. That's the end of his qualifying challenge. Back at the front of the field, Ben Crooks is back in the pits. Toby Davis is in the pits. Schlemo's in the pits. Strauss is in the pits. Tolborg is in the pits, and everyone's in the pits apart from Lennon, who has come back around the pits. I think Bubicic is going to do maybe one final lap. He's in 17th, so he's not a contender for pole position. So congratulations to Ben Crooks. He's taken pole position with a superb lap time, 53.750. Here is Bubicic. He's just gone around the track to finish his lap now, and he's going to start this race in 17th position for GT Omega Racing, teammate to Matt Farrow, who won the first race of this season. And after that, this is what the grid looks like. 10 minutes of warm-up now, just for the drivers just to calm down after the intense qualifying session. Practice their pit stops, practice their pit entry. The pit entry here is extremely slippery, very dusty offline, and with the sand that's on this track, it's very difficult to get into the pits. Plenty of people are having problems. Going out of the pits is very slippery also. As we see our pole man just coming out of the pits in his 3ID FCR Commodore, and he's beaten Toby Davis to pole position, but that's a great debut in the series for Toby Davis. Of course, this track was the pre-qualifying venue for this series, so that's why the times are pretty close, but also the track lends itself to that sort of racing because of the nature of half a tenth of a second meaning everything. And it's a 360 Racing front second row. Schlemo beating Strauss once again, so that's 2 and 2 this season. And someone takes out the banner there, TouringProSeries banner. Thank you. You've now put my my logo upside down on the track. Nice of you. In 5th was Jesper Torvald, teammate to the pole man Ben Crooks. 6th was Gary Lennon. 7th James Johnson. 8th was Norbert Leitner, just an independent driver. Levesque also an independent driver, single team driver at least for Logitech. And Eicher Roding for Berlin Race Crew, Motorsport for All. He's in 10th. He rounds out that top 10. 11th, Anders Nielsen. 12th was Kjell Stenbeck, who is his great friend, so it's a very friendly 6th row. Anders Nielsen teammate to 6th place, Gary Lennons for Swikos, 3rd in the championship at the moment. Steve Davis and Tim Brook are on the 7th row. That's an all 05 Motorsport 7th row then. Both great friends also. 7th is John Wilson for Zeno Racing. 16th is Yara Benari with his teammate in 7th, so he will be looking to improve a little bit from there, but he's not too far off, only 4/10 of a second. And the race is a whole different story. Teo Bubicic for GT Omega Racing, teammate to Matt Farrow, who won the opening round of this championship, but unfortunately he's not going to be completing the rest of the series. That's a great shame. Also as well, those wondering where Gregory de Grief is, he's also not going to be completing the rest of this series, so we have no reigning champion in this series unfortunately, which is a big shame. But we do have some great drivers at the front of the field anyway, so that will make up for that. Andrew Schmidt for Hijinks Racing, Matt Clark for 211 Motorsport. His teammate is in Division 2 for this race, Chris Sykes. 20th is Giuseppe Churcho for Android Racing. 21st, who was that? It's Philip Antonia. He's dropped from the server, but hopefully he can get back in before warm-up ends. James Fellows 22nd, 23rd Jeff Dobbing, 24th Nikolai Ivanov, whose teammate is Rob Musgrove, who's also in Division 2. 25th, rounding out the grid, was Roy Magnus. We're actually missing some big name drivers here today. We're missing Motelenko, Douglas. We're also missing McVicker, missing Rodriguez, who was a pole sitter last time at Melbourne. We're missing Vinatea also. So I'm not sure what's happened to those two, because those two are teammates, Sim Racing Spain teammates, and they're usually not absent from these races, so very unusual set of circumstances, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. And it's Ben Crooks is on pole position, who will be looking to extend his championship lead from this round. So we're just 5 minutes to go in warm-up here before the start of the race. There's a formation lap here with a standing start. Show you the top speeds here, all very even of course. 257 kilometers an hour from Ben Crooks is the highest. Some drivers choosing to run very low downforce here, despite the fact that it's a very short circuit with lots of fast corners. These cars don't create too much downforce anyway. 200 pounds maximum, which is absolutely nothing really, considering how much power these cars have. 650 brake horsepower, almost 1.5 tons in weight, steel brakes. Not exactly designed for racing, but race them we do, and fantastic action it gives us. And it's Adam Vaughan who's taken pole position in Server 2, in Division 2. So congratulations to him. As Philip Antonio and Matt Clark come back into the game. So that's good news. As Florian Strauss is top of the top speed sheet at the moment. It's very close at the top speeds. Actually, no one on 256. They're all 257 or 255, which is a bit strange, but there you go. It shows off the top speeds of the drivers. Steve Davis and Toby Davis are quite low on that. But that's just because they haven't done a good lap in warm-up, of course. It could be to do with that. Teo Bubicic is fast in warm-up at the moment, so I think that was faster than his qualifying lap also. So he's obviously got plenty of pace to use throughout the race. So we'll watch for him moving up through the field. Try and find somebody who's practicing their pit stop. Always good to watch. See if we can find somebody. It'd be nice. James Fellows off the track. All seem to be around the other side of the circuit at the moment. Here comes Tobias Schlemmer. Let's see if he'll make a pit stop here. And someone's hit a cone down the straight also. Lovely shot though as the cars come streaming down the straight here. There they are. Coming over the top of the hill. If anyone makes a pit. Someone's making a pit there. Look how difficult it is to get into the pits. Lots of brake locking up. Not very much grip out there. Very dusty indeed. This track has been updated for this league, so it's updated with new textures, new graphics, new 2011 curbing also as well. They changed their curbing recently to blue and white. This is all part of the series, custom tracks, making the drivers feel like they're part of something special. The series uses SimSync also as well, so if you're interested in joining, it's incredibly easy to set up. Just install a new R Factor and set off SimSync. It does it all for you, then come on track. And then the difficult part is trying to keep up with these guys. People like Strauss and Crooks and Davis. And Schlemmer, of course. That's the difficult part. But just 30 seconds to go now in warm-up, and then we'll be into the race. People just completing their final reconnaissance laps. A couple of drivers just practicing their starts on the grid also. There goes Tia Bubicic practicing his pit stop and getting it completely wrong also as well. So goes Jeff Dobbing. Ben Crooks decides he wants to go top of the timesheets and does a .147, but Strauss is a 120, so he's saying he wants to be top of the timesheet. So plenty of competition even in the warm-up. These are now on race setup. Only 3 or 4 tenths off their qualifying setups. That's very impressive. Into the pits comes one of the 05 Motorsport cars. And
non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
As we hear the famous words, the cars start gridding up. As we wait for the cars to jump onto the grid, there we are. Remember, there's a formation lap here, so the drivers will set off, and then they'll take it nice and steady around the lap, line up on the grid, and then catapult away from the line, and we will be go in this 62 lap race. So 62 laps, 150 kilometers. Should be 1 pit stop, but there may be 2 for those who are having trouble with their tyres or can't quite get enough fuel mileage out of their tanks. So it really depends for those guys. And the drivers just work their tyres on this opening lap, nice and smooth round they go. Trying to get a bit of temperature into those tyres, which is so important to get some temperature into these tyres, because cold tyres, cold brakes and heavy cars with 650 brake horsepower do not go together very well, if you want to go quickly, that is. If you go for a Sunday drive, doesn't really matter, but for these sorts of sessions you really do need to get the tyres and brakes all heated up. Oh, very close there. We got run into each other. It will be a bit silly. The cars stream around. All very close. Look at this. And an excellent sight as they come over the crest of the hill. All weaving their tyres down towards the final corner. There's Crooks, Davis, Schlemo, Strauss, Torborg, Lennon, Johnson, Leitner, Levesque, Roding, and actually top 10. That will be the top 10 for this qualifying. Andrew Schmick just getting in the way of somebody there as they make their way around to the end of the grid. Here comes Roy Magnez to set up the back of the grid, and we got a great shot here though as they come around, and we're getting ready to be going. The revs rise. And they're away for round 4, and a great start there from Toby Davis. He's already got the jump and the overlap on Ben Crooks. Ben Crooks moves across ever so slightly to cover from Schlemo and Strauss. Strauss has got past Tobias Schlemo up the inside now as well. Torborg on Schlemo. Schlemo's got a bad start like he did at Melbourne. He's back down to 5th already. Lennon still in 6th. 7th is Leitner. 8th has gone down 1 place, James Johnson. But at the front of the field, it's Davis who leads from Crooks. As the field comes streaming through, Strauss is in 3rd. And Crooks is having a look already on this opening lap. Down the inside of Toby Davis is so close. They're touching on the curb. Davis going to run wide onto the grass. Not quite, so close. And Crooks takes the position. Davis fought a bit too hard there for the opening lap of a race. But Crooks was determined he was going to come through, and he's held the inside coming down the straight also as well. And it's impossible to go around the outside of this corner here. You're going to get shoved onto the dusty surface, so be very careful there. But down across the stripe for the first time, it's Crooks who leads from Davis, Strauss, Torborg, Schlemo, Lennon, Leitner and Johnson. 9th is Ike Rodin. 10th is Steve Davis. A great start from here. 11th is John Wilson. 12th, Levesque. 13th is Anders Nielsen. As Crooks still leads from Davis. Davis still pursuing him. Gets a bit of understeer through turn 5, but runs a bit wide. No problem though. Back down the grid. Looks like everyone's pretty much status quo. Very clean so far. But we'll wait for the action to kick off eventually. As the field streams around. That's a great shot as they come down into the final corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just like that. Davis almost locking up and coming to the back of somebody. That would have been into the back of Roding, who he obviously came into contact with at Albert Park, of course, in that fast chicane. But Crooks is still leading them round. Still second is Toby Davis. So status quo between the top 3 from the start. But of course, Davis got the jump. Crooks decided he's going to force it down the inside at turn 5 on the opening lap and took the position. Let's go on board mid-pack with one of the drivers. Let's go on board with Steve Davis. He's involved in the big battle here with Ike Roding. As he comes out of the ball, so difficult is the pass here, though. He's never quite close enough coming out of corners. And that, having a look up front, it looks like Johnson and Leitner are having a go at each other. Johnson's trying to get past Leitner. Crooks fastest lap, 54.207. We've always Steve looking at the battle for 7th position. Up the inside comes John Wilson, pushes his way through. A great pass there from John. Just slipped down the inside, almost unnoticed. And Johnson's got the better of Leitner as well, so he's up to 7th. 11th now it is Davis. He's got Levesque behind him next. Here is Levesque looking at the back of Steve Davis's car. 13th is Nielsen. 14th is Tim Brook. How close the field is. 15th is Stenbeck. 16th is Benari. That's the biggest gap back, really. And 17th is Schmick. So the top 15 really are extremely close together. One spin here is going to mean all the difference. Tim Brook, Anders Nielsen, William Levesque. There is Steve Davis. And there is Roding and Leitner having a battle once again. So Leitner's getting monstered here in the opening laps. Fastest lap now from Florian Strauss. He's still in 3rd position though, at the front of the field. And here is that top three. And Strauss is applying the pressure to Toby Davis. And Crooks is just getting a slight gap. Just a couple of extra car lengths over the last couple of laps. And Strauss not so quick through turn 5 though. A little bit of understeer. So easy just to carry a bit too much speed through there. Right at the back of the field is Antonio, Dobbing and Magnez. So they've dropped back a little bit. The top 15 are extremely close, covered by just 8 seconds. Tolberg runs slightly wide. Will that put him under pressure from Schlemo? Not quite sure. He is under slight pressure. Schlemo goes to the outside. Tolberg defends the inside. And now is Lennon wanting to get involved as well. A bit farther back after fighting off Norbert Leitner. He's really captured this group very quickly indeed. He's dropped Leitner by quite a margin, 0.8 of a second. Roding is one who wants to get past Leitner next, along with Wilson. An excellent pass he pulled on Steve Davis by John Wilson. As he come around the ball, oh, and Nielsen runs in deep, and that's going to put him under pressure from Levesque. He's got past Levesque actually in all that melee. Now Brook is going to challenge Levesque down this straight. Levesque must have made a mistake as well, because Levesque goes slightly defensive, just puts his car in the middle of the road, making sure that Tim doesn't even think about sticking it down the inside. And Tim doesn't stick it down the inside, and the tactic worked perfectly. Stenbeck is still in behind them. So Ben Crooks leads the race still. Wilson is the man on the move at the moment, looking to get past Ike Roding. Next guy further up, the man on the move, is James Johnson. Here he is. He's really caught up to the back of Gary Lennon extremely quickly. Both great friends, these two. Both very well matched for pace as well, as they were in 2010. Schlemo is in 5th. A little bit cooped up in behind Torberger, I feel, but he's not exactly challenging to get past. And Strauss still in 3rd. Still can't do anything about Toby Davis, and Toby has just gained ever slightly on Crooks over the last few laps. These two, of course, have had epic battles in the World Touring Masters over the last season, it's season 2. With Crooks ultimately getting the better of Davis overall in the championship. Crooks getting 3 wins last season, Davis with 2. And they both lost out to Dave Lau in the end, who won the championship. And in fact, it was Toby Davis who lost out to his teammate Chris Butcher overall in the championship after disconnecting and not finishing the Bathurst race. But these three are now making a check out from the field. Here is Tolberg in 4th, 1.4 seconds behind. Not that much of a margin, but it is a big margin at the track where every half a tenth counts. Lennon's 6th. That's just dropped back a little bit from that group, but Norbert Leitner's not gaining at all. And now Roding's coming under pressure from John Wilson. Down towards the final corner. Wilson's going to go for it up the inside. No, thinks better of it. Doesn't quite go up the inside. And Barbara Wilson now looking at Ike Roding. He's shown plenty of speed over the last couple of races. A bit unlucky at Melbourne with his pit penalty. He's shown lots of speed. He's run wide onto the grass there though. This is Wilson's opportunity. Can he get up the inside? He can't quite. Roding's got it back across the track, but now Roding's going to be slow through this next section as he's going to turn in. Very narrow indeed. And through is going to go Wilson. And there he goes, straight past Roding. Very opportunistic move. And Wilson is on a charge at the moment. And he gets very sideways coming out of the bowl. Great to watch. And Steve Davis is heading Levesque still, but Levesque has got past Anders Nielsen, and Brook has got past Anders Nielsen as well, and Brook's having to go up the inside of Levesque. He's going to make it stick just about. Both going to be forced wide onto the dusty part. Through is going to come Nielsen and take advantage, and that's another position lost for Levesque. And now Nielsen's having to look at Brook also, but not able to make the move. So Levesque goes back 2 positions. These 3 drivers having an epic little battle at the back of the field, or mid-packer, sorry. Further back down the field, should I say. And now Stenbeck is caught right up to the nozzle as well. Up to his great friend Anders Nielsen. Levesque is in a big sandwich there. He'll be enjoying racing with these guys. Still Crooks leads. Still Davis in second. Still Florian Strauss in third. Looking for a one-stop race here, so they'll be pitting around about lap 30 or 31. Get some fresh new boots on, as it looks like Davis and Brook. Looks like Brook is going to try and have a go down the inside of Davis there, but not quite. Now Torborg and Schlemer 2.5 and 3 seconds back from the leaders. Johnson has not been catching Lennon over the last couple of laps. Maybe he's pushed too hard in the opening stages and heated up his tyres a bit too much. But Roding has dropped way back from John Wilson, and now Steve Davis has caught right up to the back of the German driver. This is the fight for 10th. Look how close they are. It's like a snake coming through turn 5. Davis is just having a little look. Just running the car in very fast indeed, and Brook has got a good exit from there. Will he have a bit of a slipstream down the straight? He will. Will he be able to make it through? Can he go down the inside of his teammate? He can't. Because Davis has gone great very late indeed and gone quite deep, but managed to get the car around the corner anyway. Extremely close there between these guys. And Steve Davis is still trying to get past Ike Roding. Ike Roding looks like he's just dropped off in pace a little bit. Maybe he made one mistake and now he's under pressure. He's come over the crest of the hill. Inch perfect accuracy from all these drivers. Showing great respect for each other. Stenbeck's just dropped back from this group just a little bit. This is 10th to 14th, covered by a blanket. Still Crooks from Davis from Strauss. Still Torborg at the front of the field. Crooks has a very small gap over Davis at the moment, less than a second. But Crooks, he's still having to push hard. Matt Clark has left the game also. Ben Crooks leads by 1.1 seconds from Toby Davis. Oh, and 2-2 dip goes Anders Nielsen almost off the track. That was so close. And Levesque is going to take advantage. Through comes William Levesque to take the position. He's got the position already. He's got the overlap. Ben Crooks' fastest lap of the race, 54.0. And he's dropping Toby Davis now. 1.2 seconds is the gap, and Strauss has fallen back from Davis as well. 2.1 seconds back now. 2.3 back from the leader. Torborg 3.4. Slamo 4 seconds. Lennon 4.4, and then there's Johnson also as well. Here is Leitner, a little bit lonely, but look who's ranging up behind him. John Wilson marching through the pack at the moment. Excellent lap times. And here is the big battle we've been following. Roding, Davis, Brook, Levesque, Nielsen and Stenbeck. Bit of a gap now between these three to the next two because of the mistake that Nielsen made and the little bit of slowing each other up they've done. Just shows how easy it is to slow each other up here. And there's Bubicic making his way through the pack also as well. He's caught up to these guys. There he is, he's now into 16th, so he's got past Jari Vanari. We saw he had a bit of pace in warm-up, so maybe he can use that in the race, and he does seem to be gaining on this group of drivers. Moving up through the field. Still Tim Brook is following his teammate Steve Davis. And still they're following Ike Roding. And John Wilson has cleared up the road 3 seconds now. 3.6 seconds from this group. And he's looking to get past Norbert Leitner. Looks like this will be the next big move on the track. Actually, look at the front, because we've got Schlemo almost trying to have a go at Torborg down into turn 1. Through comes Crooks, Davis and Strauss. Here comes Torborg and Schlemo. Lennon also very, very close indeed. Extremely close to the back of these drivers. On board with the Sweecos Ford. Nielsen's got back past Levesque now. Nielsen is Lennon's teammate. Managing the tyres out of that corner is so important. You can't spin the tyres up too much. They'll overheat and you won't be able to cool down quickly enough. And they will wear out faster. You have less grip. And Schlemo with a big move at the inside of Torborg. He's not going to make it stick though, because Torborg has cut back. And now he has the inside again for turn 1. It's going to be a braking duel into here. They both brake at exactly the same time. And through on the inside going to go Lennon. Lennon's going to make his way through. Looking back at, from Johnson, looking at Schlemo and Lennon. And through goes Lennon. Opportunistic or what? He watched Schlemo make a great move on Torborg, but not able to make it stick. And then Schlemo decided to stick it out on the outside of Torborg, and Lennon says thank you very much, I'll run just slightly hobbs up the inside and take that position very nicely indeed. Excellent stuff. And now the 4th to 7th place drivers are extremely close. Oh, and Davis has spun. Davis is back down the field. There he is, getting going once again. He's going to have Leitner come through and pass him also. Oh, and Leitner almost ran into the back of him, so slowly Davis was going. And it's going to be a duel down the straight. Side by side they are. And has Leitner got the speed to get back past Davis? No, he hasn't. Oh, he has, because he's going to come down the inside now of the Tia Helm Rennsport driver. And Leitner is going to make the move. Can Wilson make a move also? He can't quite. So let's see what happened with Davis on the replay. Just rewind it for you here, guys. Down into the bowl, he's gone off. Was he challenging somebody? No. All by himself. Looks like he braked a bit too deep, put a wheel on the grass, and around she went. Oh, and Strauss almost got completely caught up in that as well. And that's really penalised Strauss, because he's now way back off the leader. Again, trouble always seems to find Strauss. Oh, he seems to find trouble wherever he's on the track. He's avoiding cars or getting caught up in pit stops or something similar. Strauss is ahead of Torborg still. He's still in second after the spin of Davis, as Nikola Ilivanov has been in the pits and come back out again. It's very early for a pit stop. Obviously decided to go for a 2-stop strategy here. The 1-stop strategy does appear to be on the face of it quicker, but we'll see how that pans out. Plenty of dust there through that section of track. I'm not quite sure why that is. As Crook still leads the race from Florian Strauss, now by 4.6 seconds. The gap is now huge as Crooks tries to put a lap on James Fellows. Here comes Strauss in the background, and Torborg, and Lennon, and Schlemo. So 360 Racing are 2nd and 5th. 3ID FCR now 1st and 3rd. So they'll be happy with the turn of events here at the moment. As Toby Davis is back in 8th, trying to nose up the inside of Norbert Leitner. He's obviously got more speed than Norbert, but has he got the consistency? The answer is pretty much no, because he has spun out in the race, as he does tend to do so. Obviously having to push very hard to keep up with Crooks, which is understandable, as Crooks has been superb this season. It looks like John Wilson's had his progress stymied also, as Davis gets out of shape under braking into the ball once again. Just about gathers it up and gets a good exit, but now Wilson is all over the back of him. Right in behind the Tia Helm Rennsport Commodore. Moves out to have a look. Not a serious look though. Just to unsettle the driver ahead. He comes flying out of that final corner. There's nothing like going to happen now. And Roding is still holding off the challenge from Steve Davis, who's still holding off the challenge from his teammate Tim Brook. Obviously being kind to each other. Don't want to knock each other off the race. It's not even only a third of the way through the race here. Anders Nielsen has seen off Levesque and has caught pretty much back up to this group. Chel Stenbeck and Theo Bubicic are still locked in battle, however. Looks like Theo's got a bit more speed, but hasn't been able to make the position. Oh, very, very deep on the brakes into the ball. And off has gone Toby Davis once again. Back down to 15th, so our front row sitter, second place, Toby Davis, has spun twice now in this event. What happened this time? Oh, he's had an incident, I think. Perhaps with, no, just by himself. That's just the lag we're seeing there. Just by himself once again, the exact same error. Goes sliding into the corner and has gone backwards into it. And he's now way down the field, down in 17th. As he tries to get back up the inside of Yari Venari, but Yari's not having any of it. He might be a faster driver than Sunshine, but if you can't stay on the track, you're not coming through, says Yari. That's really ruined the race for Toby Davis. Running very, very well in second. 2 mistakes at exactly the same corner. And he's down to 17th. As Bubicic runs wide onto the grass, kicks up plenty of dust. Again, Davis is sideways out of those corners. Venari 16th, 15th is Bubicic, 14th is Stenbeck, 13th is Levesque. As into the pits, who is that going to the pits? That is John Wilson. Looks like he's got damage to the front of his car. Let's have a look at his car. He has got damage to the front of his car. Has he spun coming into the pits? Let's have a look. He's locked up the brakes and whacked the wall extremely hard. He's absolutely demolished the front of his Zeno Racing Ford. Look at that. That is massive, massive damage. Let's rewind that for you. Just coming into the pits, bit too hot, underseas, locks up the brakes, whacks the tyres, and has ripped the front end off that Ford. That's going to cost him a huge amount of time. He's not repaired his car in the pits, because only 18.2 second pit stop. But that's not great stuff for him, as off the track is gone again already. What's happened here? So coming out of the pits, he has repaired his car. It was extremely quick from the Zeno Racing mechanics. Oh, he's put the power on far too hard and spins right across the front of the leader, Ben Crooks. Almost disaster there for our championship leader and race leader. He gets back on the track, okay. Just a bit eager on the gas coming out of the corner. He's running once again, but he's back down a lap. That's the problem. He's back down a lap and he's having to get out of the way of all the drivers. Probably why he was trying so hard to get out of the pits in time so he didn't get lapped. Probably see Crooks coming along the straight. Now the top 7 have passed him. Here's Ike Roding, who pitted also. Ike Roding pitted behind John Wilson, but look how far ahead he is of Wilson now as a result of that. As Magnez tries to hold a position from Roding. Magnez hasn't pitted yet. Roding has. Through goes Roding. Who's that in behind? Just get back into the action here. Lost the thread a little bit. Back towards the front of the field. Here is Ben Crooks in first position. There is Florian Strauss in second with lots of lap traffic in between him and Ben Crooks. It's 4.4 seconds the gap now. He's 4.6, so he's gained a little bit on the leader. Torborg is under pressure still from Gary Lennon. So Mike Schlemos dropped behind these drivers now by quite a bit after that opportunistic pass by Lennon. 6th is James Johnson now. 7th is Leitner. 8th is Steve Davies. He's got a big gap now to Tim Brook. He's got a decent gap to Anders Nielsen, but Nielsen does not have a decent gap to William Levesque, because there comes Levesque having a look down the inside. Not quite able to. 4.3 seconds now the gap between Strauss and Crooks. As Toby Davis is fighting his way back through the field. Here he is, fighting with Theo Bubicic. Bubicic has dropped back in behind Venari now. That's all the drivers coming to make some of their pit stops. Roding has pitted, Wilson has pitted. Schmick has pitted also, I think. Oh no, he hasn't, he's just here. So I'm not sure whether he has made a pit stop or not. It's quite difficult to tell. These are the movers and shakers so far. Toby Davis has dropped 12 positions since the start of the race. Tim Brook has gained 5. most people have gained, of course. Steve Davis has gained 5 also as well, so that's good for the 05 Motorsport crew. But of course, we're just in the middle of the pit stop shuffle, so we'll see how this pans out after. Now we got down to 4 seconds between Strauss and Crooks. So Strauss is showing just a little bit of extra speed in this at the end of this first stint. And then he continues to track Jesper Torborg. And he continues to be tracked by Tobias Schlemmer, who's caught back up to the group once again after dropping back by around about a second. He's now back to 0.6 behind. These drivers are not lapping that much slower than the lead driver, maybe by a tenth or two. That's the only difference, as Jeff Dobbin gets out of the way of all these drivers. Well done to him. Ike Rodin's gone down the lap also as well. Traffic is becoming a problem here at the moment. So it's still Crooks from Strauss, from Torborg, from Landon, Schlemmo, Johnson, Leitner and Davis. And we're getting near the first round of pit stops here. Almost halfway. There's 3 laps to go till we're halfway through this race. It's been action-packed so far. We'll see how it all shakes out after the pit stops as well. See who managed to slow the car down enough for the stop. John Wilson certainly managed to slow the car down enough for the stop. Unfortunately, he used quite a bit of the scenery to slow himself down. Leitner is now lonely 7th after John Wilson pitted and also hit the wall. He was having a good battle with John Wilson, who had been moving through the field very well indeed as well before that mistake, so he'd be very disappointed with that kind of error. As Crooks puts in an excellent lap there, a 54.539. Really showed the field what he's got there. Took over a second now to 5th place to Tobias Schlemmer, for example, and half a second out of Florian Strauss. As Torborg continues to run in 3rd. It's actually his strongest run of the season so far. He ran fairly high at Jas Mariner, but ended up finishing 5th. In behind John Wilson, incidentally. Had a torrid time at Adelaide, finished 15th. And then at Melbourne, only manages 7th, in behind his teammate Ben Crooks. Florian Strauss is not very far ahead of this group of cars, to be honest. Only 2 seconds. Looks like he made a couple of mistakes as well, just with Ike Rodin behind him. He's holding up Ike Rodin, I think, at the moment. He's got, of course, fresher tyres. As Ben Crooks pits. Into the pits comes Ben Crooks. Slows the car down, hopefully by enough. Find out when he comes out of the pits. And in comes Strauss also as well. So, in they come. Well, get back to Florian Strauss. There we are. He's pitting. All 4 tyres, as you can see. Only sensible pit stop, really. And of course, Crooks should beat Strauss out of the pits. He does indeed. There he goes. And there goes Strauss. Looks like maybe Strauss got a small gain there, perhaps. We'll find out whether they set in the pits, of course, or not. Which is incredibly easy to do with the slow pit lane. Look at just 40 Ks, as you can see. And out comes Crooks. So drivers careful not to make a mistake accelerating out of the pits. And we'll see what the gap is between these drivers as they come around. So Torborg assumes the lead of the race. That means Lennon is 2nd. And Brook has pitted also, and Stenbeck. The gap between Crooks and Strauss is now 4.2 seconds, so Strauss is gaining about half a second there in the pits. Into the pits comes Anders Nielsen, all piling into the pits now. Here they all are. Just about getting to the pits was Norbert Leitner, just about. Out of the pits comes Johnson and Venari. Leitner's had to queue there, I think, for Antonia. That's cost Leitner a heck of a lot of time. He's going to drop back in behind Venari and Nielsen. Out of the pits comes Jari Venari. It's unfortunate there for Leitner. Here is Tim Brook. He's rejoined in behind Anders Nielsen after that run of pit stops. There is... Oh, Gary Lennon is still going around the track, sorry. I thought Gary Lennon hadn't... Gary Lennon is still in the leading race. He hasn't pitted, so I thought he'd dropped lots and lots of time and dropped in behind a group of drivers there, but he hadn't. Toby Davis is not pitted yet either. Here is Gary Lennon. He's leader of the race. He's running well so far this afternoon. And he's going to come into the pits now. Not pushing too hard. Gets it slowed down, hopefully just about. Gets that pit limiter on. And Toby Davis is going to come into the pits also. See if he does. If not, he will assume the lead of the race. So he's going into the pits. Who's that who's spun as well entering the pits? That's Jeff Dobbing. He's spun entering the pits, so that doesn't help his cause at all. But here is Gary Lennon, he's in the pits. And let's see where he rejoins. Here comes Crooks now along the front straight, so he's going to rejoin behind him, of course. And here comes Strauss also. It's going to be very, very close between Strauss and Lennon. There goes Strauss. Lennon just leaving the pits now, and he's lost the position to Slamo. There's Tolborg. So Slamo's picked up 2 positions in those pit stops. And Johnson rejoins just behind Lennon, but he'll put the pressure on now because Lennon will be on very cold tyres for at least a lap and a half. This is where Johnson must make the most of his opportunity as Lennon struggles with those cold tyres. Lennon just needs to drive the car nice and neat, keep the Englishman behind him. But Schlemo's picked up 2 positions in those pit stops. It's an excellent result for him. But now Lennon goes too deep. It's going to give the opportunity to Johnson as they come down the straight side by side. Lennon's a sitting duck really until these tyres heat up and come up to pressure. Oh, they're touching into the final corner. Extremely close indeed. And Johnson just sees off Gary Lennon. As into pits has come James Fellows, I believe. But still in lead of this race is Ben Crooks by 4.4 seconds from Florian Strauss. Comes flying over the bumps there, clipping them very hard indeed. But third place now is Tobias Schlemmer. He'd be very happy with the way the pit stops worked out for him, because he's picked up 2 positions and plenty of time as well. Look at the gap he's got now to Torborg. It's more or less the other way around before. But Johnson has made opportunistic moves there. He's now up into 5th position. Lennon's dropped 2 positions there. So Torborg's dropped 1. Johnson's gained 1. Schlemmer's gained 2. And Lennon's dropped 2. So it's all changed there. In that little group of cars. Roding is still ahead of Steve Davis by a healthy margin, looks like. And Tim Brooks has got past Anders Nielsen. So, off camera, Tim Brooks has got back past Anders Nielsen extremely quickly. And there is Toby Davis. He's now in 11th. So he's made plenty of gain out of the pit stop. Because he's down fighting for 15th at one point. So he should be resuming battle with those drivers pretty soon. 12th is Levesque. 13th is Vinari. 14th is Norbert Leitner. Who had to queue in behind Antonio for the pit stops, unfortunately. He's trying to get past Yarovnari, who's not been an easy guy to pass here today. 15th is Stenbeck, 16th is Teo Bubicic. He's dropped quite a bit of time during those pit stops, as wide goes Jeff Dobbin to let him through. James Fellows is 2 laps down in this race. Matt Clark only made it 9 laps before retiring, but he's the only retirement at the moment. Yeah, look at this big battle here now. Nielsen, Brook. Nielsen trying to get that position back from Tim Brook. There is the Opari's Motorsport driver. His teammate Steve Davis is in 8th. 7th is Roding. Tim Brook comes through to try and put a lap on Philip Antonia. Here's Anders Nielsen. 11th is Toby Davis, so he'll be wanting to catch up to this group as quickly as he can, not spin off at the bowl like he has done twice. Back at the front of the field, Tobias Schlemo is currently lapping faster than the leader. He's gained 0.7 on the leader at the moment in the last couple of laps, and now he's gained a second on his teammate, so he's coming. His result at Melbourne, of course, was no fluke. He's clearly got the speed to contest with these guys. 4th is still Torborg. 5th is Johnson. 6th is Leonard, who's been dropped ever so slightly by Johnson. Leonard looks like he's not got quite the pace in the opening stint of the opening part of the stint, but towards the end of the stint, his car really comes good compared to the others, and he really rockets back up to the drivers. So we're looking to stay in touch and see how it pans out. Here is Strauss now, under pressure from his teammate Tobias Schlemo. Strauss has run well in the championship so far, but not able to win a race yet. It looks slightly ragged compared to Schlemo, who's gained. What's he gained on this lap? He's gained another 0.3 of a second. So Tobias is coming. Let's go on board with him for a lap. A little lift into turn 5. It's not as smooth as he would like it, I don't think. Smooth through the bowl. Looks like he's just got a small pace advantage at the moment, but Ben Crooks is running away with this race currently. Down to the final corner. This is where Strauss has been struggling in qualifying and practice. Brake lights flickering on there for Strauss also as well. He seems to be slowing him down too much, but Schlemo has taken out another 0.4 of a second on that lap. He's lapping faster than the leader at the moment. Doing 54.5, 54.2. 54.2 and a 54.4. So the last 7 laps he's done a 54.4 or lower, apart from 2 occasions when he did 54.9 and 54.5, so incredibly fast at the moment for Schlemo. The leader's doing high 54s at the moment, 54.8 and 54.7s. So Schlemo's definitely got the pace. Schlemo's going to line up his teammate here. He's got his great slipstream down into the final corner. He's going to make a move. No, not quite. But Strauss runs slightly wide. Schlemo couldn't decide whether to go for it or not there. That's actually slowed him up. There's a bit of debris on the track there. Not sure who's that from. No, Davis is still in 11th. He's still fighting with Anders Nielsen. Oh, but they're very close to getting it. And off the track has gone Tim Brook. To show you a replay of that. He's gone wide at the final turn, and that's let Davis and Nielsen go through. And here is this big battle between Johnson, Talborg and Lennon. We'll just head back to Tim Brook. Oh, and off the track has gone Nielsen. What's going on here? Let's just go over the replay and show you this. There goes Tim. Oh, the inside was going Nielsen. A bit of contact. Nielsen ran a bit too deep. Pushed Tim Brook wide. And Nielsen's just let Tim Brook back through once again, because of course it was not a fair move. Obviously not intentional, but not fair either. And that's cost them both position to Toby Davis. So, although Tim will be happy that Nielsen let him back through once again, he won't be happy that he's lost a position to Davis. Davis is now up to 9th, in behind his namesake, Steve Davis, who is pursuing Ike Roding. Ike Roding, who has pursued for the majority of this race, and just 0.4 of a second covering these three here. Look at this. And Tobias Schlemo is all over the back of his teammate Florian Strauss. Can't seem to find a way through at the moment. This group looks like it's going to kick off anytime soon. Tolborg, Johnson and Lennon. And they're not too far off the battle for second, to be honest. But Johnson has now got ahead of Tolborg. Johnson's got ahead of Tolborg. Let's just see on the replay if we can see where that happened. Was it down into turn 1? It was down into turn 1. And out of the final corner, Johnson got a good move, got the overlap on the inside, and through he went. Nice, easy, textbook overtaking manoeuvre. Lennon this time not able to opportunistically stick it down the inside into turn 1 and take a position. But Johnson's moving up through the field. Back with live action now. It's all kicking off. All getting close. Roding and Davis very close. Lennon and Tolborg very close. Johnson's trying to check out from these two. Schlemo and Strauss very close, of course. What has Schlemo got for Strauss? Maybe his pace has dropped off a little bit in the last couple of laps because he's not able to get back up to Strauss like he was doing before. Ben Crooks with a 54.1 on lap 43. Incredible lap time really from Crooks. Cross the line now, let's see what he does this time around. 54.1 once again. Fantastic lapping from Ben Crooks. Very, very deep into this race. 2/3 into the race, over that. And he's still turning on the lap times. Strauss seems to have picked up the pace a little bit also as well. Or Schlemo's dropped off it because here comes Johnson. Not very far behind at all. And Strauss does that characteristic jump over that inside curve. Very Craig Lowndes-alike. Toby Davis is now in 8th. Why is that? We've lost Ike Roding somewhere. Ike Roding is in the pit, I think. He's in the pits. So he's gone for a 2-stop race, which is unusual because most people have gone for 1-stops. Out of the pits he comes. He's going to go a lap down once again because here comes Crooks. And here comes the 2, 3, 6 racing drivers also as well. We're very, very close to each other. Oh, and Roding slides out the pits, almost takes out Magdes in the process. And Strauss is still holding off Schlemo, but look, it's Johnson's catching up, and Johnson's pulling Tolborg and Lennon with him. Just 0.7 the gap between Johnson and Schlemo now. It's 1.4 the lap before. And Strauss is in traffic also as well. It's not going to help his cause. As Roding pulls out of the way, almost gets in the way by pulling out of the way. Goes to the inside. He's stuck in the middle of a 3-2 racing sandwich at the moment. It's really balked Schlemo quite a lot. Schlemo's dropped back massively, and now Johnson's just 2 tenths behind. So it's all very, very close. Oh, Roding tries to get out of the way, being lapped by Johnson. And Roding's coming to the pits once again. He's obviously sped in the pits and got a drive through. Into the pits comes John Wilson. He's had to go for that 2-stop, of course, after his mistake earlier on in the race. Well, he came to the pits anyway for a 2-stop tragedy, but it would force on him after having to make the repairs. But Schlemo's back onto Strauss extremely quickly. 0.8 across the line. Looks like less than half a second right now. John Wilson comes out of the pits. The gap is half a second. Strauss puts a wheel on the grass, exit in there as well. Who's that looking up just ahead of them? That's Nikola Ilivanov. And Ben Crooks is laughing all the way to this race win at the moment. The guys behind produce excellent racing. Johnson almost got pushed off the track by Roding as he tried to go into the pits. And now Johnson's got it all to do once again to catch up. As Lennon has a little look at Tolborg in the background. Davis is still 7th. 8th is still Toby Davis. Looking to get back that consistency once again. Serving so well at the start of the race until he spun off. And 9th is Tim Brook. 10th is Nielsen. 11th is Levesque. As these drivers entertained us in the early part of the race, but they've spread out a bit now. But these are written Tornadoes right now, because there is Vinari with Lightner still trying to get past the Finnish driver. A hail out to Vinari also as well. He's the guy who does our highlights videos for these races, and very good they are as well. You can catch them on Race Department also. Plenty of action there that you miss during the race. Roding his way back down the field now. He's had to make 3 pit stops, one of those for a drive-through. Ted Bubicic is in 14th. He's not moved through the field as I thought he would. He has moved up the field, but not at the kind of progress or the kind of challenging that I thought he would do. As Toby Davis puts a lap on Giuseppe Churchill. There is Steve Davis going, Tim Brooks, sorry, going in. Oh, no, Steve Davis. Steve Davis going into turn 1. Lennon's still pursuing Tolborg, and Johnson still pursuing Schlemo, who's still pursuing Strauss. He cannot line up just a pass on his teammate. But these three are extremely close together now. Very slow lap there from Ben Crook's last couple of times around. Either traffic or a bit of fuel saving going on. Into the 55s. There's 12 laps to go here. If these drivers make a mistake, of course, Tolborg and Lennon will be right past them. Top 6 drivers covered by less than 10 seconds. And Strauss runs wide once again, and this is Schlemo's opportunity. No, not quite. He just can't quite get close enough to his teammate as Strauss gets out of shape under braking, and Schlemo had a little bit of a look, almost ran into the back of his teammate. Wasn't trying to pass. Just Strauss is slow entering the corner. I feel like Schlemo really wants to get past his teammate. Of course, he doesn't want to push him off. They are great friends as well as teammates, but they're rivals on track as well. Both fighting for the Drivers' Championship, and they both went slowly into that corner, which has been Strauss's Achilles heel all through the race, and practice, and qualifying. This is just allowing Johnson all kinds of time to close up, and Tolborg and Lennon are even closer than ever as a result. Toby Davies gone off the track once again at turn 1, just off camera. Hasn't lost a position though, but has lost plenty of time. He's sandwiched between the 205 Motorsport drivers. Now Schlemo under pressure still from Johnson. Nobody can quite find a way past here at the moment. Close, but not close enough. It almost doesn't count. Schlemo just ran a bit too deep into there, and this is Johnson's opportunity. Can Johnson get the move done? He can't, because Schlemo immediately recognised the danger and covered to the inside. Johnson can't get through. Schlemo has the high ground. Crooks is able just to coast around this track at the moment. With a 6-second lead over this group here. Constantly Schlemo catches up to Strauss, and constantly can't make a move, and then he makes a small mistake, and then there's Johnson. So that's the difficulty really. If he goes for a big lunge up the inside, he may find himself under pressure with Johnson as a result in the next couple of corners, and this is really playing into Strauss's hands. Strauss loves this because Schlemo's having to just go slightly defensive on every corner. Oh, Johnson not quite close enough in that corner. Schlemo really caught up. Strauss is really struggling. Schlemo's catching up in every single corner at the moment, especially in that final corner. The car does not seem to be working well at all. And Lennon is still trying to get past Tolborg, which is incredibly difficult to do at the best of times. This is a fascinating battle for second place in the race. And Crooks will be wanting Strauss to drop down the field a little bit, because Strauss is his closest challenger in the championship. Schlemo's getting so good on the brake, Schlemo, compared to Strauss. Just seems to have more braking ability, able to carry more speed into the apex of the corner. but Strauss seems to have the exit because Schlemmer can't seem to get an exit and get alongside his teammate. He's putting the pressure on. Strauss hasn't cracked yet. Into the first corner. All precision racing at the moment. And Schlemmer hit the curb extremely hard there. Let's watch that back from Strauss's point of view. Go back looking back at Tobias Schlemmer. Now to turn 5 and whack. Schlemmer hits the curb, pushing right out wide onto the dirt of course, and not helping him try and pass his teammate at all. But on board with Strauss now. Looking back at his teammate, gains on the brakes so much. Look at it, mid-corner speed, it really has the legs on his teammate. But not able to make it count anywhere yet to take the actual position. We come through this wonderful section of track. Sector 1 contains 5 of the 7 corners on this track. Schlemmer this time misses the curb, but instead hits the grass. Oh, and running wide is Strauss. Running wide is Strauss. This is the run that Schlemmer needs. Down the outside. Will he have the high ground? He will have the high ground. Through goes Schlemmer. Schlemmer's got the position. Can Strauss keep it on the inside to block off Johnson? He can. Schlemmer gets out of the corner. Okay. Covers to the inside. Knows that Strauss trying to make a move. Schlemmer's got the inside. And with the speed that Schlemmer's been able to carry in the mid-corner, he should be able to make it move. Strauss goes around the outside. Contact between the two teammates. You don't want that. Clearly, Schlemmer went a bit slow into that corner just to make sure that he held the apex and that Strauss couldn't get through. But on lap 56, Strauss has finally cracked. Just put his small... Oh, Schmick's right ahead of them. Oh, it is so close on. Strauss has tried too hard, gets out sideways. Schmick gets out of the way. Excellent driving there from Schlemmer because he didn't force the issue on Schmick. He didn't force the issue. Waited for Schmick to get out of the way and then got past. He was patient. But now out of the bowl they come. And look at the speed that Schlemmer has. And Johnson's going to go down the inside of Strauss if he can. He's looking to make a move, and he won't be as kind as his teammate was, because he's got no obligations as a teammate. And out of shape is Strauss is really quite fired up after losing that position. Has he got the inside run on his teammate? Here he has. He has. He's going to take the position back once again. Schlemmer's run wide. Through's going to go Johnson. Johnson's going through. Schlemmer back to 4th. That was too nice from Schlemmer. He should have covered the inside much more, with much more aggression, and he just gave his teammate far too much room, and through went Strauss, and through went Johnson also as well. Schlemmer has just been too soft there, giving up the position far too easily. And now Johnson up the inside of Strauss. What a great move from Johnson, straight up the inside. That was a fantastic move. I don't think Strauss was even expecting that. That was a superb move. Straight at the inside he went. Let's watch that on replay. Now Johnson up into 2nd. 3rd is Strauss. 4th is Schlemmer. Can Strauss come back at Johnson like he did with his teammate? No, he can't. Oh, he's coming to the inside. He's having a look. Just going to put Johnson off, I think. Just noses to the inside. Not quite able to make a move stick as he got a bit of traffic up ahead. I'm showing the replay when I can, but I don't think we're going to be able to now, because they come through. Oh, and Strauss run wide. Strauss is onto the grass. He's going to hit the back mark. Oh, not quite. Tolborg getting involved. There's Schlemmer and Tolborg. Tolborg on the grass. Around the outside goes Lennon. He's got the inside for the next corner. Ilevanov involved also. Tolborg's down to 7th at 6th. Lennon's up to 5th. Fantastic opportunistic racing here at the moment. Incredibly close. Schlemmer's down to 4th still. So Johnson's 2nd. Strauss 3rd. 4th is Schlemmer. 5th is Lennon. 6th is Jesper Tolborg. That was all crazy stuff. Let's see if we can see some of that on the replay. Let's watch Tolborg as he runs far too deep into the corner. Oh, he goes very sideways indeed. Comes over the crest of the hill, trying to have a look, I think perhaps at Schlemmer. Get close at least. Gets sideways on the brakes, goes across the grass. Lennon thinks right around the outside I'm going to go, and right around the outside he does go. And a great move there from Schlemmer. Let's have a look back at Johnson's run on Strauss. Way back in the lap it is. Sorry for all the rewinding. It's not very professional, I know. But it is fun to have a look at the move once again. And it was a superb move that he made. He came out of the corner with plenty of pace. And there he goes, straight on the inside. It's a superb move. Up the inside of Strauss goes. And he just gets the high ground, gets the power on also as well. And that was an excellent, excellent move. It all seems to have calmed down now. Strauss and Slamo having some great racing. Slamo was just a bit too soft, I felt. Gave a little bit too much room. That really cost him. Now back to live action. Johnson has second place under control at the moment. He didn't look like he had his car under control for a second there, but Schlamer's run wide at turn 1 also again. It'll take a few laps for everyone to get their rhythm back. Take a few laps for me to get my breath back after that. That's an extraordinarily intense period of action. As Toby Davis is catching up to Steve Davis. Toby could have been in contention to win this race, but has spun out twice. Now it's lap 60 as well we're on. And Ben Crooks coming around to start his penultimate lap. He's been laughing really because everyone behind has been battling. He's just been able to lap all by himself. Nice and easy. Nice high 54s. 54.5 though really there. Or a 55. Johnson now. Looks like he's got it under control. Strauss looks like he's under control from Slamo. Slamo's dropped back by 1.1 seconds from his teammate. Hopefully he can pull back a little bit in these dying stages. Looked like I had so much speed at one point, which was a bit too soft I felt, and came through. Lennon and Tolborg together, and Tolborg's challenge to Lennon looks like it's not going to happen. Next battle on track is really Steve Davis versus Toby Davis. This is the penultimate lap, and Steve is an extremely hard and fair racer. He will be very difficult to pass. 9th is Tim Brook, 10th is Levesque. Beat Anders Nielsen to that 10th position it seems like at the moment. 12th is Venari. 13th is still Leitner, still cooped up in behind Yuri Venari. The poor guy cannot find a way past our highlights videos guy. 14th is Theo Bubicic, 15th Stenbeck, 16th is Ike Roding. But Crooks is in the final half of his final lap. As he comes around the ball for the last time. This has been a great performance from him. He got off the line not too well, but halfway around the first lap into turn 5 he dived up the inside of Toby Davis. It was a hard move. They were both making contact. They both almost ran off the track. But since then, Crooks has led the race almost the entire way, barring the pit stops. And he's going to take his second win of the season and extend his championship lead. Fantastic result for Ben Crooks. He wins the race for 3ID FCR here in the World V8 Supercars 2011 season. Second place to James Johnson. Fantastic result from him. Third place, a fighting third place from Florian Strauss. Fourth, Tobias Schlemo. Fifth, Gary Lennon. 6th, Jesper Torborg. 7th, who's it going to be? It's going to be Steve Davis, just holding off Toby Davis, who finishes in 8th. 9th is Steve Davis' teammate Tim Brook. And 10th is going to be William Levesque. Great result for him. 11th, Anders Nielsen. 12th will be Norbert Leitner. He's got past Yuri Venari on this final lap, finally, after spending the whole of the second stint behind him. 12th, Norbert Leitner, who was unlucky in the pit stops. 13th, Yuri Venari. 14th is going to be Teo Bubicic. It's a solid result for him. And he's the last of the drivers not to be lapped. 15th, Stenbeck. 16th, Roding, after his 3 travays through the pits. 17th, John Wilson, after his damage that we saw earlier. 18th, Giuseppe Churchill. 19th, Antonio. 20th, Andreas Schmig. 21st, Dobbing. 22nd was James Fellows. 23rd, Roy Magnez. 24th was Nikola Ilivanov. He's last of the finish. And 25th, the only person not to finish, was Matt Clark. It was a great race there from the drivers. We entertained very much in the mid-pack. It was not exactly for the lead of the race, but congratulations to Ben Crooks. Hopefully we can get a word with a couple of the drivers before we go off air. see if they pop into the commentary box. None of them are on TeamSpeak at the moment, unfortunately, so we may not be able to hear from any of them. But we will have a quick word with Toby Davis while we see if any of the podium sitters come into the booth. Toby, it was all going so well until things that we see a bit too often from yourself happened.
Yep, I completely my own fault. I was concentrating on trying to keep the gap to Ben about around a second, not let him escape any further, because I knew I could probably push the lap longer on the fuel, and maybe try and get him in the pits, and then just ever so slightly brake too late, got a wheel on the grass, and it just flung me round. And then I did the same about 3 laps later.
You did.
So I lost about 25 seconds, unfortunately. But hey-yo, that's how it goes for me sometimes.
What do you think it is that happens here? Why is it that you run so well and then make the small mistakes?
I don't know. I mean,
here.
it's all right. I don't know. I think I really need to work on some concentration issues I have. It happens too often, to be honest, Ryan. So I'll have to fix that. But I was really pleased to be in second.
You're running extremely well. Considering it's your first run in Division 1 this season as well. How did you find the competition?
Oh, it's stressful. For a start. It was very close at the top, actually. I was surprised how close it was in race pace. About 5 or 6 guys within a few seconds early on. So it was quality race. I should have held the lead on the first lap as well. Forgot about that. I got a good start off the line, and Crooksy got me back because I was being tentative. I didn't really want to mess up anyone's race, but
there was a bit of contact down to that first corner. It didn't look like you were expecting it or happy about him coming through.
I don't know. It's all right. It's Ben Crooks. I know how he rolls. So.
And how does he roll?
He rolls very well, actually. He's won the race, hasn't he? So.
Second race to him. His second win of the season. Do you think you can win a race here in this championship this season? 8 races to go, yeah?
Myself? I'd love to.
Yourself.
I'd love to. I did a fair amount of practice for this one, and I knew pole times wouldn't be too much quicker than what I was doing. I think I said to you 53.6 before the race. So
you said 53.7 it would be, you reckoned. So, and you were correct. So I stand corrected here. I thought it would be 53.4, but we were missing a little bit of a little bit of competition here today. But never mind.
Indeed. No, Rodriguez is a bit of a disappointment because he would have been one of the favourites to win this race, looking at the pre-qualifying times. But yeah, it was good to have a good dice early on, and I'm not too disappointed I've ruined it for myself, because I'm happy with the way I drove after the mistakes and made my way through the pack a little bit, and nearly had Steve at the end as well. So.
Yep, well you came back to 8th position, so it was a good recovery drive in the end. No speeding penalties, I don't think, this time around, apart from one person. So that was a good thing. Last race that we had, people who didn't watch that, we had about 12 speeding penalties for everyone at Melbourne, but they managed to deal with it a bit easier today, and they learnt their lesson. So unlucky Toby, you run very well here today. So hopefully you run pretty well at Hidden Valley as well, which is our next round in 2 weeks' time, which will be live again.
Thank you, Ryan. Do you want me to go and try and locate some other drivers?
I've asked Ben to come into the box, but he's not. He said he would come in, hopefully. So let's see if he does. I think. So that was round 4 of the World V8 Supercars season, Division 1, of course. There's been some hard battling, very high quality racing here. Amazing the consistency drivers able to produce. But it was Ben Crooks who took the win overall. It looked like Tobias Schlimmer had the pace to take second, but it was James Johnson who shot through from 4th to second. He was running 5th or 6th earlier in the race, but took second in the end. Got stronger and stronger as the race went on, so his rise back to form in the V8 Supercars continues apace. And it doesn't look like we'll get a chat with Ben Crooks, unfortunately. So I'll leave you with the details for the next race of the championship, which is in 2 weeks' time at Hidden Valley, 7th of July. It's another 150 kilometre race with sprint tyres. So that should be very interesting again. Very long straight there with plenty of technical sections. It's a ripper little track. Very enjoyable indeed. Very hot temperatures it will be there, as well as it's in the Northern Territory in Darwin, which is up a lot nearer the equator than we've just been here, which is in Perth. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time.
Am I too late?